There are many cars out there that are always talked about and admired by lots of people. You know, cars like the Ford Mustang, the BMW 3 Series, Honda Civic, Toyota Camry, you know. But then there are cars that don't get the love they truly deserve. Today I'm going to talk about 5 underrated and underappreciated cars that really do not deserve to be overlooked. The first car on the list is the Mazda 6. I'm sure this is a car everyone can agree is very underrated. Heck, Mazda in general has always kind of fell into the shadowy parts of the automotive industry. It's not until recently where they've been getting some recognition, well, mainly with their SUVs like the CX-5 and CX-9. The Mazda 6 on the other hand consistently gets overlooked, and honestly it doesn't deserve to be. The exterior design in my opinion outshines its competitors like the Toyota Camry and Honda Accord, at least in my opinion. It looks more athletic, more expensive, and definitely stands out more when out on the road. You'll see an Accord or Camry nearly on every corner, but a Mazda 6, not so much. The interior definitely stands out. In fact, it may be one of the best things Mazda has improved on over the years, nearly on all their vehicles, especially the 6. Soft touch materials laid out nicely, the seats are comfortable, and if you opt in for the signature trim, you get near German territory luxury inside. As far as performance goes, there are 2 different options available, either a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated engine that produces 187 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque, and a 2.5 liter turbo engine that bumps the power to 227 horsepower and torque to 310. Performance on the 6 is not overly exciting if you ask me, especially for a car that looks as sporty and aggressive as it does, but it sure does make up for it practicality wise. With the naturally aspirated engine, the 6 gets 25 miles per gallon city and 35 miles per gallon highway, making it an excellent daily driver. Room inside is also more than enough for a party of 5, and trunk space has 14.7 cubic feet of cargo space. Safety features is something Mazda has been very generous as well. A Mazda 6 standard comes with blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, emergency braking with pedestrian detection, lane departure warning, and adaptive headlights. All in all, the Mazda 6 is an excellent car. It's by far the best looking one in its class, like I said, in my opinion of course, and feature wise you get a lot for your money. Mazda has definitely come a long way over the years with its innovation, but sadly not many people have noticed. But you see, Mazda's recent joint venture with Toyota might give them the marketing clout they need to be more competitive in the car industry. Second car on the list is the Porsche 718 Boxster, and I guess you can group in the Cayman there as well. Essentially one is a convertible and the other one is not, but that doesn't change the fact that they aren't selling as well, like at all. You see, for a starting price of around $60,000, most people would rather go for a Mercedes AMG, BMW M, and higher trim Corvette models, but why is that? I mean, the 718 Cayman arguably looks better, the exterior has an exotic look to it, and the interior is unmatched, and despite the 4-cylinder turbo engine, it performs very well around the track. You heard me correctly, a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, definitely one of the reasons the 718 Cayman and Boxster are not as desired as much as they once were. A 4-cylinder engine on a $60,000+ car? Yeah. The beautiful 6 that screams at high RPMs is what car enthusiasts really want. Here's what a 4-cylinder Cayman sounds like. And this is what the previous generation Cayman with the 6-cylinder sounds like. Here's the thing guys, this is the direction the automotive industry is leading sadly. Engine downsizing and turbocharging, it's something we'll have to accept sooner or later. That said, the 4-cylinder turbo engine performs very well. In fact, it performs better than the previous naturally aspirated inline 6. It produces 300 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 happens in a respectable 4.9 seconds. While 4.9 seconds may not sound like much, remember these cars aren't built to be straight line competitors but more so track warriors. A perfect weight distribution, Porsche's countless years of trial and error suspension tuning, and their lightning quick PDK transmission. Of course it comes standard with a manual if you'd rather have a more engaging experience. When it comes to the 718 Boxster, the convertible offers one of the best convertible experiences. I know this because I've experienced it myself. It takes less than 10 seconds to either open or close the roof, and you can do that at cruising speed, which is very beneficial. Honestly, if you can get past the fact that these 2 cars sound like Subarus, only seat 2, and are not 911s, then they are pretty cool cars. The third car on the list is the Audi TT. This is a rather odd feature, as I think this is a car that was once pretty freaking cool looks wise, and I guess over time people just got bored of it. I mean, it's been around for like 20 years. Let's be honest, not many car models can last that long with the exception of a few, especially those that keep their design mostly untouched. Small sports cars like the TT live a tough life in the modern era as the industry shifts to bigger, more family-friendly vehicles. Sure, the TT Coupe technically seats 4, but let's be serious, ain't nobody sitting back there. It's better left for luggage and groceries. Styling-wise, while some people may not like it, I actually don't think it looks that bad. Part of it kind of resembles styling cues of the more expensive Audi R8. Well, there you go. If you really like the design of the R8 but don't have R8 money, well then you can get the next closest thing, the TT. Never mind. Jokes aside, not many cars exist like the TT, and based on their tanking sales the last couple of years, they might not be around for much longer. Brand new, that is. Let's go over some highlights as to why you may want to buy one. The interior for one is very unique, not a copy and paste afterthought. First thing you notice is that there is no infotainment display on the dash, and no, it's not tucked away like other Audi vehicles. The TT offers a virtual cockpit that pretty much does everything a traditional gauge cluster would do, plus everything an infotainment would do as well, right in front of you. Performance stats, navigation, driving modes, you name it. Not only does the virtual cockpit give you access to all these features easily with the rotary dial on the center console, but it also frees up clutter on the dash and gives the overall interior a cleaner look. The circular vents are pretty cool as well, as Audi added the climate control and heated seat functions to the dial screen, which again frees up clutter around the dash. Handling has always been an upside for this car as well, as it really wasn't intended to be very fast. Power-wise, the Audi TT comes equipped with a 2-liter turbocharged engine that produces 220 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. If that is not enough, stepping up to the TTS model gets you more power, 292 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. I can sort of see why the TT is not very popular nowadays. It offers less room than a BMW Z4, it's a 2-door sports car, and the asking price is not really enticing. It has an MSRP of $45,000 starting, which opens the doors for other competitors. Now that's tough. 20 years, 3 generations. I really do think that once this car is gone, it will be talked about. The fourth car on the list is the Nissan 370Z. Out of all the cars that I decided to feature on this list, this is the one that probably pains me the most to talk about. Growing up, I was a massive 350Z fan, actually almost bought one before, but sadly I didn't qualify for a $10,000 loan. And then the 370Z came out years later, and honestly that car blew me away. The car looks so sporty, the wide body gave it a perfect stance, and I don't know, it just looked like a perfect choice for a car guy. Many praised it at the time as one of the best sports cars to buy when it first came out, especially for the price. Today, not so much. Hardly anyone talks about it anymore, you rarely see them on the road, and they are pretty much almost forgotten. Maybe it's because not much has changed since 2009, the same exterior design with a fairly outdated interior with the same goddamn cubby in the middle, and of course it's only a 2-seater. But see, there are things that should be appreciated in the modern era from such a car. Rear-wheel drive, a naturally aspirated V6 engine, and a traditional manual. There aren't extra drive settings, nor steering or suspension settings, giving the 370Z one of the most back-to-basics raw driving experiences that not many cars offer anymore. The interior is as basic as it gets, no unnecessary distraction allow you to focus on the driving experience. The engine comes equipped with a 3.7-liter V6 that produces 332 horsepower and 271 pound-feet of torque, which is crazy good when it first came out, and even today is pretty solid. It's an engine that will be very desirable in the future once all cars either go turbocharged or EVs. I feel like this entire car is a perfect example of you don't know what you have until you lose it. I'm pretty sure if Nissan discontinued the 370Z, you would have many people begging Nissan to bring it back, and at that point the car will get the true attention it deserves. You still have a chance now before Nissan decides to either discontinue it or release a replacement that features a turbo 4-cylinder engine. The fifth and final car on the list is the Jaguar F-Type. There are a few cars that exist out there that look as visually stunning as the F-Type, not only for its price range but in general. It truly is a good looking car. The aggressive front end, air intakes, side vents, all of it. Oh yeah, and the rear of the car also looks like no other. Sadly, this car suffers to sell well, and it is up against some pretty fierce competitors. The lower F-Type trims go up against the Toyota Supra and C8 Corvette, and the higher trims like the SVR reach territory of the Mercedes-AMG GT Coupe, Mustang GT 500, and the Porsche's 911s. Performance-wise, you get quite a few choices, engines ranging from a measly 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that produces 296 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, to a 5-liter supercharged V8 that produces a whopping 575 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. Honestly, if it were up to me, I'd skip out on the 4-cylinder unless fuel efficiency is your goal. Part of the F-Type's charm is how good it sounds. Applies to both the 6-cylinder engine and the V8. It has to be one of the loudest production cars ever released onto the roads. Just listen. It sounds freaking amazing. I think part of the reason the F-Type doesn't sell particularly well is because of the competition, like I mentioned, and maybe because Jaguar's poor history of reliability. Almost everyone I know associates these cars with being a money pit. I know that was somewhat the case with older Jaguars, but with modern ones, I don't really know where their reliability stands. But if you buy one new or lease one, then it really shouldn't be that much of an issue anyways. But if you buy one used, on the other hand, well, I would recommend you get a pre-purchase inspection and an extended warranty. I don't know, there's just something about this car that I absolutely love, and I really wouldn't mind owning one in the future. It sounds great, looks super attractive, the interior looks equally stunning, and since there aren't many of them on the road, it's sure to captivate lots of attention. What do you guys think? Did I miss any? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed the video, do me a solid one and hit that like button. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe with notifications on, that way you don't miss out. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time.